Welcome to Ec12one TV, or welcome to Tuesday Morning Live.
Thank you very much.
Wow, it's a pleasure having you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Well, the first time I heard of you was indeed when I watched this video, or when I heard this song, and I thought you had some really good vocals in there.
Thank
Charlie,
you.
I really loved the voice the very first time, and I still do love your voice.
Thank you so much.
Well, but today, this is my story. We're going to be touching, even though we'll be touching a little on your ministry, but majority of our conversation, or the major part of our conversation, is going to be on the story behind the voice. So yes, most of the time people see the fine gentleman Kingsley out there on the stage ministering with a very good voice. But then, what is the story? What is it that you're going through that you want to come out and share with us, so we will also be motivated. Before we start our conversation, let me do this quick announcement. Your online, or yes, your most authentic online store, just order GH is now at the Ton at the Ton store. Very soon we'll be stocking it, and then you can order your things online. So we'll be giving you the range of products that will be online, and then you can just sit in the comfort of your homes and just place an order, and it will be delivered to you right there. So at the Ton store is your name. As the show closes, as we go to the end of the show, I'm going to give you more details on that, as to how or what are the products that will be on there. All right, so let's go straight to our story. We might have seen you or know your voice from the song Yahweh, but what we want to know more of you. We want to know how you grew up, basically, your family, where you grew up, your school, and other stuff, before we come to the story.
Okay. So my name is Kingsley Ampoful, and I was born as 37 Military Hospital. I started school by going to Faith Montessori Nursery School, went on to Richard School, continued to Adisado College, and then went to Central University. I have two siblings, a brother and a sister, both older. And
so you are the last baby then?
Yes, I'm the last baby. So,
right.
And my fellowship with the Makers House Chapter International, Destiny Arena. I've been there for about 4 years. Yeah. Growing up was interesting because my mom had very rigid standards on how we should behave and how we should be as kids. So we were very close to our mother. Our dad was a little far away from us. He was available, but he wasn't so much, present in our lives. So we gravitated towards our mom more, and we grew up with her mostly. And I think when I was in about class 6 or so, my parents got divorced. So my dad moved away, and we stayed with our mom until now. So that's
okay. All right, so now let's come to your story. I mean, I know you had a chronic back pain. But yes, you are the best person to narrate it. So let's start from the very beginning. What happened right from the onset?
So from the very beginning, I would say the story would begin from secondary school, about first year. I was in class. We were having an agric science class. It was a one-period class. So the teacher comes in, we stand, we greet, and then he says that he wants to inspect our notebooks. And sorry to say, I didn't have my notebook on me, so he called those who didn't have it and then made them do this punishment, hold your ears. Exactly. So we did that for about, say, 20 minutes or so with other boys. I think we were about 10 or so. And then after we did the exercise, so after we were done with it, and then he was done with his lesson, he was leaving, and he told us to return to our seats. So I tried to walk to my seat, but then I just fell on the ground. And then, so my mates helped me up, and then I fell, and then I realized I couldn't feel my legs at all.
Just like that?
Just like that, I couldn't feel my legs. So they actually carried me to my seat, and then, so the teacher walks out, the next teacher walks back in. We stand up to greet, and I'm on the floor again, and I can't walk. I can't feel my legs. So they carry me then to the sick bay, and then to the hospital. They call my parents, and my parents come, and then when they come, the doctors say that I may never walk again because apparently...
So before we get to the part where the doctors say you may never walk again, were you active in SHS? Were you a sports person? Were you in a cadet? Because if you want to find the root of what caused it, of course you could say that it's a normal exercise that even if you want to do how do you call it, normal exercise that people would do.
For example, squats.
Yes, like squats. So if you had done that for 20 minutes and then you couldn't feel your legs anymore, then would you say that that is the cause?
No, I would say that's the trigger of something that was already existing in my body.
Exactly why I'm asking whether you were active in school, whether you were a sportsman or whether you were a cadet, or so how were you back in SHS?
I wasn't a sports person. I was very bookish. I was prayer secretary for like 4 groups on campus. I was music director for 1 group. I think that was about it. I wasn't involved in sports in any way or form.
So you never involved yourself in anything that will make you active, like?
No.
Okay, all right. So we can go on then.
Yeah, we can go on. So I mean, so after that, the doctors were like, "Oh, you may never walk again." So they told my mom that she should actually hire an ambulance and then carry me to Kolebu, because apparently the spinal cord made up of discs. 2 of my discs are not in place and they are impinging on the nerves that come into my leg area. So they had to be fast about it and take me. But she didn't hire the ambulance, and she took me in her car, brought me to 37, and we saw the neurologist at 37. And he was like, okay, so he doesn't really see what's going on, so we should go home and then see what happens in a few days. So for a few days, I couldn't feel my legs at all. And at some point, we went to my sister's church. And so they actually like carried me into the church, you know, and they sat me in a chair in the middle. It was like a weekday service, a prayer meeting. And so the pastor prayed for me and I walked. After he prayed for me, it was a very huge miracle.
Yeah, very huge miracle. Wow.
Secondary school was tough. I mean, I had become very skinny, and you know, my sister saw me and she just burst into tears because I looked very different from the brother that she knew, you know. So that was the first part of the incident, and then after that,
you went back to SHS.
Yes, I went back to school, and everything was normal.
Wow.
And so I finished secondary school without incidents. And I went to university, Central University. And so as I was in school then, I was also again very involved in ministry and church leadership there as well. I was the student chaplain for Central University College. And during that period, I found that trying to couple that with my academics became very stressful. And from time to time, I would feel a small pain, maybe somewhere in the back area. But then I just attributed it to stress, and most of the time when I slept, it went away anyway. So I didn't think much of it at all.
So you didn't pay much attention to it?
I didn't pay much attention to it, and it didn't really connect to the incident that happened. For me, it didn't really connect. I was like, oh, you do a lot of stuff, you get tired, you feel pain in your body, you rest, it goes away, it's normal. So I didn't really attribute it to anything or think anything of it. So fast forward after university, I started my national service. So while doing my national service, I realized that getting up every single day to go to work, and I live far away from where I worked, so it was like a very big distance for me and a distance going back home. So I realized that from day to day, sometimes after about 3 months into working, I would experience a lot of pain and I would need to take some days off. And my boss was very understanding. He had this saying that goes like, if you die today, they'll replace you tomorrow. So just go home and take a few days and rest. Yeah. So then I would go home, take a few days. Again, it would take a longer time, but it would go away again. But then I was like, no, this is something that needs to be checked out. So then we went to the hospital and tried to get like a proper diagnosis of what was happening. And so the diagnosis came, and it was that I had 2 herniated discs and something called disc degeneration. So the discs are aging normally, or this age, but yes, but mine are aging at a very fast rate. So the fluid is degenerating at a very fast rate, and also it's putting pressure on the sciatic nerve on my left side. So it's it affects me so much that sometimes I can't walk at all. Sometimes I need the help of a walking stick.
Wow.
If you see
to
me,
that extent?
yes. If you see me outside, it means that I'm wearing a back brace. I'm wearing something to like hold me in place. Yeah. So after my national service, so I mean before I even got to this extent, after my national service, I got like my first job. I worked at a business development consultancy firm. It was a new business, so I was doing like 3 or 4 different roles at the same time. It was very stressful, crazy hours. I would get home like 10 p.m., 9 p.m. every day. And then it started really affecting my work, because then I would go to the hospital and they would give me a bunch of painkillers with crazy side effects that would make you dizzy, nauseous. You know, you'd want to vomit half the time, you'd be sleepy half the day, you can't really focus or concentrate. So it was really impinging on what I needed to do at work. So I decided that, okay, so let's let the job go. After letting the job go, find a way to really manage what it is that's going on, and then move on with my life. So it's like I put my life on pause. And I was like, okay, so let's find something to help manage this.
So at that point, you realized it was stress that was actually causing the pain.
Yeah, so stress was causing the pain.
Yeah, that was triggering.
And basically excess activity.
Okay.
If I sit for too long, I will be in pain. If I stand for too long, I will be in pain. Basically anything that I do, once I'm out of the house and I'm doing anything for an extended period of time, it would affect me.
So by then you were still active in church. Were you still the music minister? Were you still?
Well, so in church, then I mean, most of the time I've been just a common flanger. I've just been like a singer in church. If you need me, call me. I'll come and do whatever it is you need me to do. So yeah. So, but I was still very active, going for rehearsals and stuff like that. And even on campus in uni, I was very active in the music ministry, going for rehearsals, coupled with my my chaplain duties. I was doing all that still. So even during that period, I was still very active, going for programs, doing background for artists, doing studio work for artists and stuff like that. So I was still very active. But so after I let go of the first job, and the condition basically deteriorated after that. Like it became a lot worse after that. So I had to literally stop appearing like live. Because if, for example, I'm supposed to do background for an artist and he has a program, say, in 3 months, we have to do a series of rehearsals. Exactly. And a lot of the rehearsals, I may not be able to make the rehearsals. It became difficult. And say maybe the day of the program, I have a pain episode. What happens? That means I can't...
You can't be on stage.
I can't be on stage.
Especially when you have to stand for...
Exactly. Especially when I have to stand for a long period, you know. And even, I mean, being with Joshua Notre, it's been such a blessing for me. For like the past...
We're going to get there. We'll get to the point where how you got to...
okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I was saying, like, even at his programs, it became challenging for me to be on my feet. So most of the time, for a lot of the programs, there was a chair, like somewhere, either somewhere near the back of the stage, or sometimes on the stage for just me to sit when I need to sit. So it became very challenging for me. Then I started going from finding a solution to finding a solution. Like, you know, people started recommending hospitals, different kinds of treatments. I tried something called electrotherapy. It's like gentle electric shocks to the back area. I tried physiotherapy. I tried herbal treatments. I tried some South Korean massage bed treatments. I tried a whole bunch of things. But then the long run, I realized that it's like, they get very expensive and then they're doing very little. So then it became, you know, difficult.
So with all the costs involved, I mean, you had let go of your job and you had to pay for all these expenses. How were you managing? How were you financing all these things?
My family has been very, very, very supportive. My brother, my sister, my mom, my dad, very, very supportive. And they make me try to not think about the money, because they keep telling me it's just money. So we have to do this. Your life is more important than the money. It may be difficult, we may struggle to do it, but it's important that we do it. So even if we may not have that much, it's important that we do it. So it wasn't easy, because as a young man, I mean, I had saved some money up, and all that money would go to medications and stuff like that. Because at that point, there was this medication I was taking. I was taking about 4 different meds. One med, one tablet was like 8 cedis.
One tablet?
Yes. One tablet was like 8 cedis. And I can go through like 3 a day.
Wow.
So even to compute the cost, it's crazy. Crazy cost, you know. And that's before the tests, before the consultations, before all the things I have to pay for, before paying for physiotherapy and all that. It's a lot of money.
I know, right? I know.
It's a lot of money.
But so let me ask you this. Now, initially when you couldn't feel your legs back in SHS, and then you went to church, you went for a service, you got prayed for, and then you felt it back. You think the solution is actually with the doctors or in church?
So maybe I didn't like say everything. Like there was a time when I was going basically from pastor to pastor, trying to get somebody to pray for me. I have done a lot of the fastings. It doesn't mean that I don't believe in God or I don't believe in what he can do or the miracles that he's capable of doing that he does every day. But I just believe that I'm fine and I'm healed, but the manifestation hasn't happened yet. And in his own time, it would happen. And maybe there's something he wants me to learn or pick from this, and in the way of maybe blessing other people or in some way. So that's what I came to accept. And so I haven't lost hope. I know that I will be whole and I will be well, but it just hasn't happened as of this time. So that's what it is.
Okay. All right. So let's move forward to the part where you were paying all the bills and you had let go of your job. So what happened next? Did you find a new job? You felt? So
I found a new job. So then I found like a cocktail of medications that wasn't too harsh on me. So then I was like, okay, let me try and find a new job. Let me try. So then I found a job with a savings and loans company, and I started working. And so when I started, I declared to my boss that, okay, this is what's going on with me. So because of that, maybe the kind of workload that you would give to, basically, if they can, they should try and adjust for me, because it's not easy for me and I need to actually make money and build a life, and you know this. So, I need to build a life and like do something for myself. So they should try and help me, you know. So a few months into the job, I realized that it still wasn't great, because the difference was I was home, and this one I'm going to work every day still. I even got them to transfer me to a branch that was kind of closer to me
home,
and stuff, but it was still really tough, and it was affecting my productivity at work and stuff. So I spoke to my family about it, and they were like, you know what, let's still let it go again. So after 7 months of working there, I let it go again. And then I decided that, okay, 9 to 5 is just not for me. I wouldn't try to do a 9 to 5 anymore. And then I would try to do something on my own that would help sustain me. So then I started doing a lot of little things. I started doing a lot more studio background. I dedicated myself to doing like studio background singing. And I've been on a few projects here and there. I started coaching singing. I was coaching mostly little girls, students.
How were you doing this? Online, or you had a class? Or
no, so I had some I was doing online. Some, if you can come to me, that's the best way for me. And then a few people who live very far away, I would schedule it in a way that it's not too stressful for me. I would know that, okay, if Monday I'm doing a class, Wednesday I'm doing another class, Tuesday is off. I'm sleeping the whole day because I need to recover from going out and doing the classes and stuff. So then I got into doing that, and that kind of helped me. And after that, I started another business with some of my family members, catering to engagements and weddings and stuff, doing diary carriers and basically organizing engagements and organizing funerals and stuff like that. So that's another thing that we are into. We do events and stuff. So these are the things that I try to get into to keep me afloat. So it wasn't easy. It's still not easy, but we're trying to.
All right. Moving forward, you think that surgery would actually get rid of this permanently,
So,
or you're finding a way to accept this as a part of you and to manage it at home?
So apparently, after doing physiotherapy for some time and talking to several people who have had the procedure done, who have a very similar case to mine, who have had the procedure done, apparently surgery is not a cure. So what happens when you have the procedure done, you would still have bad pain days. It may be less, it may not be less. You will still have a lot of restrictions that I don't have now. I wouldn't be able to bend past a certain point. Probably this chair, I wouldn't be able to sit in it because it's too low. I would have to raise it a little bit. There are a lot of things I wouldn't be able to do even after having the surgical procedure. So basically, it's something that you do if there are certain signs you have to look out for if you lose control of your bowel movement or something. There are certain signs you have to look out for. If any of those things happen, you have to have surgery. You understand? But even then, the surgery is not 100% cure.
All right. So with all these things you are experiencing or going through, how has it affected you psychologically? We'll come to that, but before then, let me read some few Facebook comments here.
Okay.
Emi Abe says, "Go Kingsley." Gatina Kokoi.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry if I always get the names wrong, but Charlie says more fire to you. And Kweku Tewi Champong says proud of you, bro. And Jay Mensa is saying strong guy. All right. So let's come up to the question. With all these things, I mean, how does it affect you psychologically?
So you know how in a part of the world, and especially in West Africa, we have, you know, being a man is a very hyper masculine kind of thing, and you're not allowed to really show emotion, or it's not been easy. It's been very difficult, and I have to go through people telling me that, oh, you're fine, forget about the pain. But this is something, it's with me every day, all day. So it's not something I can really forget about. And so at some point it drove me to depression, to the point where I don't want to talk to anybody. I turn off my phone, nobody hears from me for like a week or two. I don't want to hear, I don't want to see anybody. I mean, I don't want anybody to help me. I don't want anybody's attention. It's crazy. But I isolate myself from everybody, you know. So it has affected me. There are periods where I'm very down. There are periods where I'm okay. Now I would say I'm in a very good place. And I have come not to accept per se, but I'm at peace with where I am now. And I'm also at peace with whatever God wants to do with this situation. And I am willing and malleable that He should do whatever it is He wants with it.
Right.
And if another thing that helps me is that if I don't trust God, who am I going to trust? Like, what am I going to turn to?
Okay. So how has this affected your relationship if you have a girlfriend?
So I'm currently single. So I'm currently single.
Let me say to her.
Oh God.
It is hard to digest.
Oh jeez. Well, I was dating somebody when the incident, like when it became kind of bad, but she was very, very understanding about the whole thing. She was very helpful. She used to come home, take care of me, cook for me, clean, everything, you know. But the relationship didn't work out, but for other reasons. It had nothing to do with, you know. But even though that relationship, you know, didn't work out, but not because of this, I still had this mental block that I have too much baggage, and
But you don't want to burden anyone. But
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
want to burden any woman with, you know, this kind of thing. So then I took like a very long break, and I'm like, I'm not thinking about a relationship right now. I need to find out how to manage this and how to become or be in a stable position enough to bring somebody else into it. So
all right. So let's look at this, Kingsley. Growing up, you had your dreams. You had a career you wanted to pursue. I'm sure ministry is part as well. Has this condition affected or changed your plans for life?
it has in a lot of, yes, it has in a lot of ways. So my primary dream or ambition was to work in different sectors and then start a consultancy firm. And
advertising
and
sectors. If you say different sectors,
like the finance sector, advertising.
Okay.
So I have a marketing background.
Okay.
So it's something I wanted to start, like a marketing and advertising kind of consultancy. So I was going to work in finance, work in marketing, advertising, and then gain experience and put together a company and, you know, advise people and stuff like that. But after this happened, having a 9-to-5 is impossible. So it means that I have to build whatever I want to build now, and it has to be something different, because then I wouldn't have the experience and the expertise to be able to supply people. So it was basically me finding a new direction. Like, I felt lost at some point, because at some point you can't even make plans because you don't know if you can honor those plans. Because if I start a company and I set up meetings, the day of the meeting comes, I have an episode. What am I going to tell you?
Probably you do Zoom meetings.
Maybe I'll do Zoom. Maybe technology has, you know. So at some point it was like I have to overhaul my life, pick every part of it, put it together all over again, and then find a way to move forward. So it has affected me greatly in so many ways.
So what's the new direction now in terms of building a career?
So the new direction is focusing on the events business. Focusing on, so we have a family pharmacy also that we manage. My parents are pharmacists, so that also helped with me getting medication and stuff like that. So we have that too that we manage, and I'm a vocal coach as well. So if anybody needs coaching,
of course,
if anybody needs coaching, I mean, I can help that. And then aside from that, I started a YouTube channel which aims to start a conversation about chronic illnesses and mental health, because it's not a conversation that we have here. It's not a conversation that has been started here. So basically the aim of the YouTube channel also is to start a conversation and to encourage people, because there are many people who are going through very similar situations, but they are silent, they are in secret, they don't have anybody to relate with. Maybe they don't even have the financial backing to even get properly diagnosed, and they are just in the house, and people are like, oh, in a so, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, so I just want to help uplift people's spirits and also encourage people that you can still go on, you can still have a life. Okay,
so let's take a quick direction into ministry. A quick one. Our time is up though, but a quick one into ministry. What now for you? Now you want to? Are you into music? I wouldn't say full time. I know you are vocally good, but are you going to go into music, studio work, producing songs out there?
Yes. Okay. I actually have a song that I'm working on right now in the studio. Okay. It should come out in the next 2 months. Okay. So yes, I would go into full-time music ministry. I don't know how that sounds like, but yeah. Or that's,
of course. Okay. But, all right. So we are live on Twitter and we are also streaming live on Facebook as well. You have a YouTube channel. Yes. So my YouTube channel is Chronic Ali or Chronic Ally, depending on how you want to look at it. Yeah. So you can follow the YouTube channel. You can follow me on Instagram as well at Kingsley_Unhinged, or you can follow me on Twitter at King_Unhinged. Facebook is Kingsley Ampoful. So you can find me on these platforms and follow me and let's interact. My email is even in there somewhere, so you can email me, we can talk. So, yeah. All right, so for all those who've joined in on our Facebook, let me read some 2-3 comments and then you can add your final words and then we go. Queen Aling is saying your strength is admirable. Benjamin Sean Sodoken is saying, standing with you, King. I believe everyone is blessed listening to your story. Love you, bro. Kwekutiria Champong is doing the claps there. Gartena say, thank you, Kingsley. Ni Pakpo Adote, your strength is admirable. Keep up the faith. Obviously, you believe you'll be whole one day. You'll be whole, definitely. Definitely.
I will look back and laugh and be like, okay, so this is something that I went through. I definitely will.
All right, so add your final words, encourage the people who are depressed, who are going through
I just want to say thank you very, very much for encouraging me. A lot of the comments he read are people I know personally, who talk to me personally every day, check on me, visit me. If you know anybody in your life who is going through something similar, visit the person, just be there for the person. Try to ask, how can you help? help them out. Because me at this point, I don't refuse help, because I realize that I can't do everything on my own. And if you're out there and you're going through something like this, you can have a life. You can, you know, have money, have a family, have kids. It's very possible. So be encouraged. I mean, get up, try to do something with your life. Try to, you know, make something of yourself. It's very possible, because I am a living testimony. I am doing something. I am doing a lot, and I will amount to everything that God wills for me to be. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kingsley Ampoful. It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure being here.
I know for sure that you had to carry a message out with this. I mean, there's a reason for you experiencing or going through this chronic back pain, but I know there's a reason for it, and definitely you are doing that. So thank you so much for everyone who joined us as well. We are live on Facebook and on Twitter as well. The show continues. Your social media handles again, one.
Yeah, so my social media handles: Instagram is Kingsley_unhinged, Twitter is King_unhinged, Facebook is Kingsley Ampoful. So should I spell the Kingsley? Or?
Kingsley. Oh no, it's okay. I'm just spelling. All right. So thank you very much.